Hello guys, I hope you're doing great today. Look who I've got here with me. These fabulous heroines, Louise, Jess and Lara. Three gorgeous ladies who've worked so hard getting the London protest together for everybody. I should have mentioned somebody else, shouldn't I, Chris?
Chris, please, who won't say his surname, and Neil Gardner also.
Chris and Neil, oh my gosh, yeah, how could I forget Neil?
Got some men in there. We
Yeah.
let them have a little bit of play, didn't we?
It was Neil's idea.
Yeah, that's the only.
Yeah.
That's the only credit he gets. No,
How did it all start then, guys? Who rung up who first and
Neil.
said what? Neil.
So Neil went to Warwick, and then he
Yes.
came back, and he got in contact with me and went, Louise, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. We've got to do one in England. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Neil, no. Yeah, we got to do one. Oh, go on then.
I'm glad you agreed because it's been great, hasn't it? What happened then after that?
Sorry. I was watching Warwick back home, and I remember seeing that there were no Australians,
Oh,
no
okay.
Kiwis, and I just watched it for 2 days straight. And when I heard that you picked the date, I booked the flight because I
Wow.
thought some Australians needed to be here.
So what we did after me and Neil had agreed that we were going to do a protest, I kind of put together a few people that I thought would help.
Yeah.
And we put a little face group or, I don't know, messenger chat or something together. And we didn't have a date then, they hadn't announced the date. So we were planning it, but we didn't know when it'd be.
Mhm.
So we were planning without knowing, and we kept saying, we've got to find out the date as soon as we find out the date. And then when the date came out, it was 2 weekends, and we sort of went, oh man, what are we going to do? Okay, we're going to do 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And then it just went from there that we kind of wrote invites, and you did lots of advertising, and you did the invite for the 2 weekends, didn't you?
The
So
media release.
The media release we did. I did an itinerary because then, it's all right saying come on the 11th, but where, when, what time, how is it going to work
Lot of
exactly?
thought.
There's not nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Then Neil said, well, we're going to need funding for things. So he put together a
GoFundMe, yeah.
GoFundMe, so we were able to support people then coming over from
It was all so exciting just watching this as a viewer and seeing it all unfold step by step, the build up to it. It was great. I think I'm not sure whose video, I remember Parker's video stood out to me. Somebody else did one before that, probably Neil. But just, watching it all unfold was
And you
great.
didn't say what was behind the scenes.
No.
Behind the scenes, she was researching the law.
Yeah, quite extensively because of the nature of the land, and it's private land, not public land. So I researched all about human rights and where they exist on private and public land. I researched, is there a public right of way from the train station to Excel? No, there's not. There's a permissive path. I researched the law behind what's the difference between a permissive path and a public right of way.
Right.
And the thing I didn't want to do was I felt privately that, so then I found out that 2 months before Watchtower were working with Excel to try and limit us down. I'd heard that from somebody who was physically and mentally
To
out.
limit us down, but they couldn't stop
They
us, do you
could.
think?
Yeah, they could, yeah.
Because this is a question that I
Yes.
wanted to ask because I've actually protested down here once, and they said to me, I had to go on that occasion because I hadn't informed them. They said as long as I informed them and let them know, I would have a little space and I had the right
Well, I didn't inform
to
them.
protest.
You
So
informed the police.
so
I informed
I'm
the
thinking,
police.
this is my honest opinion, I'm thinking really if those Jehovah's Witnesses, because they don't like us there, we get up their nose, why are we allowed to be there? Why have they given us
Just off
that
the-
permission?
So what, I don't know, I'd say it's the goodwill of the Excel staff, not the witnesses.
I would say, I think it's the Excel, personally.
One of the Excel security ladies, when we were thanking her last
Security,
week,
yeah.
and she said we were, thanking us, thanking her for allowing us to be here.
Yeah.
And she said, people fought and died for freedom of speech. So yes, of course, we're going to allow you to be here.
yeah.
It just needs to be in a manageable way.
That's
and
right.
I feel like the way that they did manage it actually helped and facilitated to keep everything calm.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Except
massive thanks
that-
to Excel.
That was a misunderstanding on her part, because freedom of speech doesn't exist on private land. Your human rights don't exist on private land. You do not have a right to protest in my back garden that I own. You don't have freedom of speech in my back garden because I own it.
So
You
Watchtower literally have hired that space that we're in, not
But-
just the actual Excel venue.
No, they've hired the Excel venue, but Excel could ask us to get right off their property. So if Watchtower
Yes.
leaned on them and said, look, we've paid thousands of pounds to
Right,
hire
now I
this
get you.
venue,
Now I
and
get
you know, we've got these idiots turning up who have paid you 0 pence. We'd like you to, you know, they could have.
They could apply some
they could
pressure and
apply
heat
some
for us
legal
not to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you might like to hear, was how many countries were represented at this protest.
And so we had 14 countries in
That's
total
amazing.
across the
Yeah.
weekend, and 108 people last weekend.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's
So
brilliant.
Jess, like, you've got really good friends over in Canada and the States, and the Vast Apostate Army came to support. You're wearing their t-shirt. Do you want to show your tattoo?
Yeah, if you like.
Which way?
It's really cool,
sorry.
mate.
It's the Vast Apostate Army.
Wow, that's beautiful.
There's permanent support.
Stunning, stunning. So where to from here, guys? What's the future? Do you think that we're going to be back here next year? What's the chances?
I don't know.
November in Melbourne.
Okay.
Next
Okay,
year.
November in Melbourne.
There's talk
I
about
heard-
lots of protests. I think it's inspired people. So there was sort of something in Dublin next year. There's
I
been
heard
talk
of Dublin.
Switzerland. There's also been talking about Canada.
Yeah,
So I think we can use this model and run with it.
yeah.
So what
Definitely.
I said, because we've been inundated with people saying, come and do a protest here, come and do a protest here. Some people haven't even used the word please. They've just gone, do this in America. So
It might not be. I mean, kind of impossible. It might not be possible to repeat what we had here. I think what we had here was something so special. I love the Vancouver thing. It was so exciting and it was so rebel. Okay, if I'm totally honest with you, we came here and it felt like we were in that space and we might have been limited as to what we could achieve, but I've been proven
We had
so
a protest
wrong.
with Derek O'Hare where he wasn't arrested.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a success.
that's.
Yeah. So
But
what
the
I've-
amount of people looking over
know,
and
you
reading
have to
and
be here to
talking,
see it,
you
right?
have to be here to see
So
it.
what I've said, faced with the inundation of people wanting protest, I've said we're going to use the Facebook page, JW Protest, to provide resources and help and support and advertising for
Yeah.
people who want to hold their own protests in the future.
Okay.
I think also there'll be a level of coordination, because if we're planning a protest in Dublin and in Portugal and in Cardiff all in August next year, we're going to be spread thin. So it might be that people want to pick one place.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, oh, we'll only do one place, but it's just that if you spread too thin, you might end up with 10 people here and 5 people there and 3
Yeah.
people there and 15 people there. Whereas if you pick one place and everybody gets together, you might end up with 50 or 100 people in one place.
Yeah.
So that's a consideration going
Yeah,
forward. I think.
absolutely.
The other thing that we've tried to build is more professionalism. Not that anyone's unprofessional, but you learned, didn't you, from
Yeah.
previous protests and implemented those learnings.
Yeah.
So one example of that is we have written a resolution, and the resolution was moved by myself and seconded by these ladies and Neil. And anybody can use that resolution going forward for their own protest. And the resolution asks the governing body to say sorry. And the resolution asks for all of the recommendations to be implemented from the Australian Royal Commission. So we can ask that again and again until they say sorry and implement the recommendations.
And one of the other things that we learned from the previous protests that I've watched is to have a briefing for people.
Yeah.
I coordinated quite a lot with somebody who's a totally different organisation that have run protests on this land against arms fairs, and that man gave me a lot of advice, and he said, you do not let anybody protest without being briefed. You all need to know what you are doing, when you are doing it, when does protest end, where do people go when it's ended. He said you need to be really clear, and that was really good advice, although I wasn't quite as firm as him, but we did do a briefing at the beginning so that people understood the parameters, because it's hard to tell people what to do, right? We've been told what to do all our lives, and everybody comes with it. You can't tell me what to do anymore. I've been told what to do all my life, and they're having their voices controlled, and then for me to come in and go, oh, you can't have that poster, I'm just controlling people's voices again, and I didn't want that. However, we did have to work within some strict
Yes.
legal parameters, or else we would have been kicked off. So that's fine. If you want to go and do that, you would be jeopardising 3 more days of protest. They could have said at any time, you leave the land at any time.
So can I tell you the other positive things that happened? Jess, for example, organised the T-shirt, as I mentioned, but what she also did was a lot of networking, encouraging people to take photos, making sure people had drinks, ensuring that we had things printed out if necessary. She asked to help. Also making sure that we had meetups. If we were going to go have coffee together or have dinner together, you can speak for yourself. I just wanted to tell everyone how helpful you'd been. What else have you done?
The care team is really the thing that I was most proud of. That wasn't my idea, that was your idea, but it was brilliant. I think it's something going forward that it would be really helpful for other activism, whatever that is, whether it's protesting or not, to have people who are assigned. People knew if they saw the badge that, I mean, we were all there to support each other, but to have particular people who
Professional skills.
students, professional skills, but who have a bit of experience of doing that. I think it helped people to feel more relaxed. That's a lot of people have said that. They felt much more relaxed and much more calm, and it was scary. It was scary for all of us. You know, it was a really big, massive thing.
It
that
was.
Everyone did there.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really proud of it.
And one of the other positive things was the people that came along all went on their own personal emotional journey and felt very supported. So people were saying, I don't know how I'm going to feel, and then when people got there, they're like, do you know what? I'm glad I came. I'm glad I came. I don't feel scared. And loads of people who came the first weekend who were just going to come one day, came 2 days, and then came 3 days, and then came 4 days because they were so empowered. And that's what I wanted. I wanted people to get the voice back.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't say there's been a single negative thing.
I agree.
No, I absolutely agree as well. And I have to thank you all because I have protested before, but I've always done it on my own. And I was just dying to come here and have other people around me protesting. And it has been amazing. I mean, I just can't believe the experience of it. I want to go to another protest now. I will. I'm a permanent protester from here on in. Yeah, I'm converted. That's the word I'm looking for.
I was not a protester. It wasn't natural to me. I've been quite out of my comfort zone. I'm not very good in the protest area. I don't really engage people, but I'm good at planning.
You're
and
brilliant.
having planned it.
You're brilliant. You've done a fantastic job. All of you have. All of you have.
I'm not scared of protest now. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not a scary thing. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And how positive have the witnesses been?
They've been
Did you
so
see that? All
positive.
the witnesses coming up to us.
Yeah.
Older, younger, even the public as well.
It was hard to capture it in a sense because we couldn't
We
really
couldn't video
blatantly
them.
directly
No, we weren't
look
allowed
at them.
to.
But we got snippets of it. They
Yeah.
took a lot of film of us.
Did you
But
know
that
that JW Fact Statistics kept
heard.
doubling during the breaks?
I heard. But that awesome experience of a sea of faces looking at us, it wasn't 100% captured. We tried to get it, but you know, you had to be there to see it, to believe
So
it.
there was a little bit of criticism online where people were saying, okay, what are you achieving? I'd say come along.
Come along, yes. Anybody, if you ever get a chance to go to one of these protests, go.
Managing was the messages into the JW protest inbox. People who were fading, people who wanted the support, couldn't make it, but they were sending us private messages.
Oh, that's brilliant. Just letting you know that they're rooting for you. Yeah,
And to say
fantastic.
thank you for being here for them.
Yeah.
Didn't Chris have someone
in the lift, say thank you. We had a couple out there last night with the badges on, came up to us, hugged us and said thank you very much. And I'm like, you've got your badge on, mate. That's mental.
No, it is. It's brilliant. And you deserved it as well. Thank you from me, and I'm sure everybody else too.
Nice to meet you.